I can use that melody because it's in no copyright zone. Suck it up. Hello brave new world, it's Joshua again here with a brand new video in which I'm going to do the continuation of this video of this fascinating topic. I was going to say, welcome to a brand new video in which I'm going to continue another fascinating video that I made about the following topic, that is r/AskReddit, or in this case r/AskFacebook. What was your "they didn't know I spoke their language" moment? ¿Cuál es tu momento en el que ellos se dieron cuenta de que tú hablabas su lengua? What is the moment that when they realized that you actually spoke their language? How stupid can people be sometimes? No, in this case, not rude, not stupid. How ignorant, how silly, probably how rude. Oh no, what did I do? Oops, oopsie. So yeah, one more time. How ignorant can people be as to believe that a person doesn't speak their language? Oh my god. So, I'm going to continue where we stayed the last time, using as a reference this particular post that I made in this, using as a reference this post that I made on June the 6th of this year, 2021. I made it at around, at around 3:45 p.m. So let us continue right now, right there. So yeah, let's jump right into it while I listen to some pleasant music such as Janji Heroes Tonight. Thankfully is no copyright sounds. So let us continue. The last story that I read in the previous video was this one by this person named Tom Ross, and he says, in the 70s we used traveler's checks a lot. In Paris, I had learned that a good place to cash them was a small bank near the American Express office, where I used to go to pick up my mail. When I went to the exchange to cash a check, I generally just handed them a check with my American passport for identification without saying anything. One time the guy was clearly shortchanging me by miscalculating the exchange in his favor. And as he was handing me the francs, I astonished him by saying something like, je crois que c'est fois 80, 65, fait 465 francs, 65 francs. He immediately recognized his mistake and gave me the correct sum. That one was apparently funny, and it has 14 reactions. Nothing at all like the reactions that I read in the previous one. And this was in France, so that language is not so hard, but it is for me. I prefer Italian and Portuguese. Let us have a look. Someone called Asma tags her friend Zainub. And then the next one says Michael Widyaja. I have no idea how to pronounce it. He says, Michael Widyaja says, I often volunteer in a place called Lourdes in France. Prior to the pandemic, I was helping with all French volunteers until someone asked me to help with the Italian visitor. And can you imagine the surprised look of the Italian family when they are being greeted by an Asian who tried to explain to them how to do things for safety, etc. An Italian speaking Asian. How not strange is that? I mean, everyone and anyone can speak the language that they want. And race is not a limitation. I don't understand why some people believe that. Nikos asks Michael, what kind of volunteer did you do? I'm interested. Please contact me with the info. I'll really appreciate that. Nikos says, I volunteer in a religious Catholic pilgrimage place. Typically we're helping with the pilgrims whether they're healthy or sick, in the big Marian sanctuary, in the grotto cave, the baths, piscine, in the train station, airport, etc. And then he gives the, and then Michael, gives the info. Ana Carolina Bortoletto says, two Spanish-speaking boys trying to cheat in Uno when I, a Brazilian who was even learning Spanish then, was in the room. Also, my Chinese students trying to cheat in a card game. I only knew the numbers, but in that case it was enough. Absolutely. Uno is a total breaker of deals and breakers of bonds and breaker of friendships and relationships. So, this one smells weird. I might as well wash it soon. Let us continue. Now that's a fascinating story, and as well as a delightful Uno reversed card situation in real life. Ha ha ha. Ajeleya Sasori says, I'm fascinated by this, honestly. Says, once I went to a wedding and a family came to sit at my table because they couldn't find another one free. They were also Mexican, but started talking in English like if they owned the place. My friend, the groom, gave us a tequila bottle per table, so the bottle on the table was mine, because it was my family's table. So the father on the guest family wanted to steal my bottle and started to ask his sons to grab the bottle in English, and said that it was no problem since I looked dumb as fuck to understand them. I was like, man, I even licking KCMO, shut the fuck up, but kept quiet. No, I was like, man, I even live in KCMO. STFUs means shut the fuck up, but KCMO, what's that? KCMO means, damn it, KCMO means Kansas City MO? What's Mo? Kansas City. She lives in Kansas City, and she's like, Kansas City. My family had to leave early, so I didn't hesitate to take my tequila bottle and said, let's not forget the bottle. Excuse me? In English, as I grabbed it. The look in their faces was like, again, never take it for granted. Again, never take such thing for granted. Colon, I think colon, and it's like that someone speaks or doesn't speak your language. Fadil Sayed says, I was working in Saudi Arabia, where the IT market is dominated by Indian and Pakistani professionals. A customer who doesn't know me personally called me to ask about a few medical things. He started talking in Urdu, and I managed to answer the first few questions using the first words I know. Oh my god, I think I need to lose some weight. Damn it. He started talking in Urdu, and I managed to answer the first few questions using the few words I know. Then he asked a question that I didn't understand and asked him to repeat it either in Arabic or in English. So he asked me where I'm from. After answering that I'm Syrian, I had to wait for about a minute till he could talk again. What does being Syrian have to do with his not answering to you? Damn it. Now that's a little bit frustrating and saddening. I think that's enough. Yeah, that's enough. I think that's enough. Let us continue, okay? Then Haifarim Ramdahne says, I went with my mom to Istanbul, and we went to the hotel she always goes to. She has business between our hometown and Turkey. All three of my siblings already went there before me, and it was my first time. We went to have breakfast in the hotel restaurant, and two workers were sitting in front of us, and they were wondering if I was my sister if I was my sister or if I was another person, they don't know. And of course, they were discussing that in Turkish. I finished my breakfast and looked at them asking for coffee. And when one of them brought it, I said thank you in Turkish. The guy was shocked, and so was my mom. That's actually pretty nice. Nothing rude, to be honest. Yes. Then we have another one that says, Isidora Velez says, I overheard a woman at work complaining about me to a co-worker in Spanish, with me standing right there. It was about me being unprepared because I forgot to bring a document with me my first day to work. When she turned to speak to me in broken English, I told her in Spanish, it's fine, and apologized for forgetting the papers. It has been a stressful week because I had literally just moved to the country. She looked embarrassed. Well, at least she was not an entitled B word, like those typical Karens. Aren't they disgusting and hateful? Mika Joy von Rutzfeld says, and the ground open and she was never seen again. That would make sense. Oh, my Finnish friend is talking to me. Nonin. Were you sleeping? It makes sense. Megan Riley says, the cutest was in Beijing in the Hutongs, Hutongs. There was a grandpa and his grandson. I overheard them discussing if I was American. I turned around and confirmed it in Mandarin. I have no idea how to say that. Hopefully, I'll try to project what she was telling us. Let's see what it says. I have no idea how to pronounce this, so if by any chance I manage to... Esto va para un video. Acuérdame que está aquí. So I'm going to try to project. I'm going to make sure that I can project and show right here the piece of writing that they say. Hopefully I will do it. All right, let's see. Saulo Icefield says, I have two stories that are not exactly in this context, but I'll tell them anyway. I'm from Brazil and I spent 2 months in Germany in 2000. One time I was in a store inside a castle. Nina, ¿qué diablos haces? Nina. My cat is being silly. One time I was in a store inside a castle talking to a college in Portuguese, and I heard a German girl asking the cashier where we were from because of the unusual language we spoke. He replied that we were Russians. I simply corrected him, saying that we were from Brazil. I would like to know what you said to them in Brazilian, Portuguese, and in German. Because why not? On the other story, on that same trip, I was riding an absolutely crowded bus. And suddenly the bus screeched to a stop. I had to hold on very tightly, and I almost fell, bumping into a passenger. Because of the sudden braking, I cursed in Portuguese. And she looked at me, her eyes wide open, and I asked where I was from, and I said, I'm from Brazil. I have German and Polish ancestry, so I'm basically Caucasian. She was surprised by my answer and she thought every Brazilian was black. Well, she was polite. Well, she was at least polite, I assume. Let's see. Dia Ben says, mine wasn't dramatic, but it was a couple speaking English right next to me and my friend in Thailand discussing our appearance loudly. Nothing too bad about it. Italica Battinson says, my husband told me a story of when soon after arriving in Canada, he was on a subway with a few friends. There were around 19 to 20 years olds, and they spoke Friulano, which is a language from northern Italy. They spoke Friulano. What's next? Wait a minute. Requiem. Ending song of Requiem. a video game program by Laura Shigihara, who has the channel Super Shigi, and she also made the music of Plants vs. Zombies. I'm going to listen to it from YouTube, but at the same time, no problem. It's not going to be projected here as a background music because that would be copyright infringement in the eye of many YouTube executives, but I don't want, it wouldn't be intentional. Sorry. I'm just gonna listen to it. Back to the story. Italica Battinson says, my husband told me the story of when soon after arriving in Canada, he was on a subway with a few friends. They were all around 19 to 20 years old and they spoke Friulano, which is a language of northern Italy. They were sitting across a beautiful young woman. They started saying how gorgeous she was and apparently some other things. He would not tell me. At some point she stood up and said to them in perfect Friulano, boys, I have to get up the next stop. So can you put my clothes back on? They were stunned, but had a good laugh. She was such a smart lady. Oh yes, she was. I must have forgotten the time difference. XD. Anyway, top of the morning to you, dear Raka's friend, dear friend. I love this music. Esther Sorrentino says, beautiful. And William Von Rudy says, this got me good, especially the last part. Me too. Gabriel Straussen says, French people in a restaurant in my city speaking shit about me and my friends because we didn't fix in that place. I approached them and said, that's disgusting, folks. In French, their phrases were like, like the emoji. Isabel Seya be like, I had a long wait at the DMB in the US. Isabel Sayer says, 3 Guatemalan immigrant men came in and there weren't enough seats for them to sit together. So 2 sat behind me and 1 in front. They started talking back and forth over my head about the women they had banged. All the women they'd like to bang, what score they would give various women, etc. I let them talk for a few minutes and said, unless my son, ustedes son muy mal educados, no deben hablar así en un lugar público así. They were so embarrassed and apologized profusely before sitting in silence until my number was called. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Indeed. Here it is 11:48 p.m. There. Love you more. Can I ask you a favor? Nothing too serious. Let's continue. And what did you say? About having a very bad education to talk polite. Education has to do with going to the college, but what you're talking about, my dear Isabel, it has to do with being polite, to have manners. And there is a difference with that. No, maleducado is a false cognate with English. It means badly brought up. Poor manners, uncouth. I basically insulted their mothers by calling them badly raised for speaking like that in a public place. I like that story, to be honest. I really do. Hey, my new friend Nabil is talking to me. Why waking up that early? Do you go to work? Do you go to work or school? Or run errands? Let's continue and be like Forest. Lupin says, I'm black, Afro-Latino, and people, including other Latinos, sometimes mistake me for being African-American and don't speak Spanish. One day during my freshman year of college, I was in my dorm floor's bathroom, and this Cuban guy was playing Don Omar next to me. I mentioned to him that I love Don Omar. He couldn't believe that I listened to Don Omar. He thought I was African American and didn't speak Spanish. I told him just like Don Omar, I'm Puerto Rican and Afro Latino. I also explained that my name threw him off. I was adopted in my late preteens. After that, we became friends, and we still are to this day. Oh, that's so wholesome! I love that so much. I need to wash this. Sorry. I apologize profusely if you had the very big disgrace of hearing me belching. When did I start recording? I don't know. Damn it. I don't know how much time I've been transmitting. I've been live, but we'll find out later. That is actually so wholesome, and I love it. My reply is, that is so wholesome, and I love this story. Finally, a happy ending. I love that so much. We still have so many stories to read, friends, so please buckle up, sit down, grab some popcorn, grab some sodas, or grab some drinks, lemonade or orangeade, and enjoy the stories with me. Jasmine King says, I don't speak Russian, but I understand some of it. My friend and I were sitting having dinner at the local bar and grill. What's next? This one is better. Yes. So one more time, yeah, regular talk. One more time. I don't speak Russian, but I understand some of it, says Jasmine King. My friend and I were sitting having dinner at a local bar and grill. There was a group next to us, and one of the guys starts talking to us, just regular small talk. In Russian, his friend said, I don't want to talk to those girls, they're not my type, pretty much. I said in English, it's very well to assume we wanted to talk to you. We're talking to your nice friend, you're not our type either. Girl, you're wrong. Girl, you totally rock. And you are definitely my type, and I'd like to be your type. Answer whenever you can. XD. XO. I didn't write that exactly, but it is. I wrote something on those lines. Frank Berset says past is just a word, not a story. Nada Nabat says, I am Moroccan. I speak English all the time with my sister. Guess it's a Generation Z kind of hype. We have an undetectable American accent, so we were at the metro and two Moroccan men were talking about how she looked mixed race and I look Spanish. They moved to talking about our bodies and how old we look. We were about to explode from laughter, me and my sister, and we ended up speaking Moroccan before leaving the metro, talking about how it is crowded, and we turned to see how embarrassed and shocked they were. I'll never forget their faces. Every day of my life, says Anais Vega. Please do tell a story. Please do tell a story. I am sure I and all the ones who answered would love to hear it. XD, how funny is that? Wait a second. I'm trying something. Wait, I'm trying something. I'm going to see my own transmission from Facebook. Understand some of it, says Jasmine King. My friend and I were sitting having dinner at a local bar and grill. There was a group next to us, and one of the guys was talking to us, just regular small talk. I hate the sound of my voice. Said, I don't want to talk to those girls, they're not my type. I hate the sound of my voice. Really, I do. Damn it, let us continue, okay? Let us continue. Okay, get out of here. So back to the story time. Gabriel Alvarado says, in a hostel in Budapest, there was this group of loud German-speaking young women. German-speaking. Let's listen to this. Since I am Chilean, they immediately assume I could not understand their rather explicit and awful stories about sex and drugs. Not good. Sex is alright, but drugs? Not really. After 3 days of tolerating their terrible behavior, right before I had to leave, I just told them with my best Deutsche Welle accent. German is not a secret language, you know? Millions of people speak it. The most ashamed faces I've ever seen. Deutsch ist ganz toll. Ich liebe diese Sprache. Diese Sprache. I love this so much. Sue Ellen Toppings says, I'm from Minnesota and I was in the Czech Republic in 1993, study abroad. And I could speak a little bit, understood the language well. Let us continue. Where was I? On a train one day, I sat by some elderly men, and they were talking about the American girl next to them, and one said he should set me up with his grandson, who was in Iowa, which is just south of Minnesota at that time. I smiled, and they asked if I understood. I said I did. They asked where I was from, and when they found out I was from Minnesota, the grandfather said in Czech that he should have brought socks and underwear to send back with me for his grandson. Lol, we have a good laugh. That's actually a good laugh. I love this kind of stories where there are wholesome endings, where we can all have a laugh. A positive laugh, not at the expenses of a person, but with that person. And this person was totally having some laugh with the person that we're talking about her. I don't think it's a good idea to listen to Maroon 5. I love that band, but I get I lose concentration. I might as well start listening to a different song. I might as well listen to something different so I can get concentrated properly. Let us continue. Yeah, this is better. So let us continue. Ime Malabonga says, born and raised in the Philippines, but my first languages are both English and Filipino Tagalog. I spoke English more and I was better at it, and my accent is very neutral but American sounding. Everywhere, as a kid, except school and at home, people always thought I spoke English. They'd always assume I'm the kid who grew up abroad for some reason. My brain works out the way that if you speak to me in English, I'll of course answer in English. Same with any language or dialect I knew. Since these people spoke to me in English, I guess they never thought I knew Filipino or would get shocked whenever mom called for me and I answered in Filipino. I have a few memories of this, and I remember the frustration in some people's eyes, like I betrayed them. That's ridiculous, it's a language. I have a few memories of this, and I remember the frustration in some people's eyes, like I betrayed them. Y'all, I'm just answering in whatever language you spoke to me. How can you feel How can you feel like I betray you? For example, you're speaking crap about me in a language that you assume I'm not speaking, and then you get surprised. Surprise Pikachu face after I answer in that language, and I call you out on your BS. You are an idiot. You are an idiot. You are an idiot. Kikayim says, I was on a gondola with a couple of friends in Venice. I'm going to say Venezia. I was on a gondola with a couple of friends in Venezia. The gondoliere ended up chatting to another gondoliere on the gondola in front of us the whole ride. They spoke Venetian, assuming we were foreign tourists, actually from Australia. And the conversation was very personal about the fact his wife is pregnant and he's looking forward to becoming a father, but he was also anxious on how massive she's become. Hey, he's talking about. Hey, hey, you gotta appreciate that they did not talk shit about you. Red velvet. Da, 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 bam, 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 bam. Lilitharia says, never happened. Now I'm interested even more. Anything is welcome. Anything is welcome. Julie Beneff says, in Germany, with 2 adult kids. My daughter studied abroad. There. In Germany with my 2 adult kids. My daughter studied abroad there in Germany, and is a fluent German speaker. A hotel had gotten a reservation wrong from an online reservation we made. We started to address it with the woman and her helper. They said in German that they had better get something for us, as they felt I was not going to back down. They did. I thanked them in English, and my daughter said we appreciate them making it right. In German, of course. How nice is that? Lovely. I had a dentist appointment too 3 days ago for the first time in like 7 years. Pam, 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 pam. Madre, ahora no. Madre, estoy grabando. Háblame por aquí, por favor. Please talk to me here. Ahorita te llamo. Madre, si estás viendo esto, hola. Mom, if you're watching this, hello. Go to Facebook and watch my transmission. Damn it. Sarah Hurts says, when a Spanish waitress looked at my baby daughter and said to our college, have you ever seen a fatter baby? Hey, in your defense, all babies are ugly, so. Oh my god, how terrible. How terrible of a person am I? Joder. Alright, I'm going to continue. A few more and we finish it right there. Laila Olsvik says, my daughter was a few months old when I went out the local store in... Oh, this sounds good! Tashilak in Greenland. I was about to put her on her trolley when a group of American tourists walked near by us. A guy around his 50s said loudly and clearly to his group, why is there a lot of babies in this small town? I wonder what they all do. He was laughing and being a smart ass in front of the other tourists. I looked up and said loud and clearly, well, the power station I looked up and said loud and clearly, well, the power station went off 9 months ago. I'll never forget his face and the laughter from the other tourists. I bet he still remembers the embarrassing moment, even though it was 24 years ago. What? Now that's a cool story. What? Now that's a cool story. In Greenland? Wow, that's fascinating. Fascinating. What language did you use with that guy? And we're going to finish it right there. We're going to wrap it up right now and we're going to continue later. Thank you so much for your time, Brave New World, and I'll see you later, alligator. Farewell. Whoop.